Some socialists in the United States have embraced the idea of socialism with American characteristics, where socialism could be built in this country while we still retain our basic governmental structure and national symbolism. Now, in addition to being disrespectful towards the Native American people, in my opinion, this idea also ignores the history of socialism as it relates to decolonization. Think of the story of socialist Korea and how they were only able to build their socialist nation after they broke free from Japanese colonial occupation. Think of the history of socialist China, which could only carry through its socialist project after it defeated Japanese imperialism as well. Think of the history of Zimbabwe under the communist leader Robert Mugabe, who was only able to take power after Zimbabwe, which was formerly called Rhodesia, broke free from its colonial occupiers and was able to create its own decolonized indigenous nation. Think of now this isn't technically a story of decolonization, but it is one of indigenous liberation. Think of the history of Bolivia from the last 14 years, where President Evo Morales, while he was in power at least, moved Bolivia towards socialist development while very much embracing his indigenous identity and working to liberate Bolivia's indigenous peoples symbolically. All of these cases show how when socialists come to power, their duty, as reflected by these historical trends, is to honor the indigenous people of their region, and in many cases to actually decolonize their regions and give the land to their rightful owners. In cases like socialist Russia and socialist East Germany, the decolonization hasn't happened, but that's only been the case because in these countries they weren't occupied by a colonizing power. The United States continues to be a region that's occupied by colonial powers, though it's not official. The United States broke from Britain. The Native American people still haven't had their land given back, and they still exist, and they need to have have what belongs to them returned to them. To pretend otherwise, to act like modern America is the equivalent of East Germany or Russia, and to act like we don't need to decolonize America, is to act like white people are the indigenous people in America. To act like whites are the ones who should get to continue to steer the country's destiny even after they've carried out a socialist revolution. It's only fair, and it's reflective of the history of socialism to push for decolonizing the United States as it relates to advocating for socialism in the United States.